On the assists here, Sean Burr's goal makes it 1-0 Detroit, leading the Leafs in the first period. In the broadcast booth tonight to provide the accounts of this clash, Bob Cole and Harry Neale. And let's go to them now, gentlemen.
Thank you, Ron, and good evening, everybody. At this moment, the Maple Leafs, trailing 1-0, have the man advantage, as Zombo is in the penalty box for holding. And they're nearing the 5-minute mark of the opening period. Leafs pass it around inside the line. Alan Vester in goal for Detroit. Here's Lehman's shot, going for the far side, and he just missed it. Petit gives Allen a chance. Kicked out by Vester, loose puck in front of the net, and Alan Vester, crowd favorite here, of course, in Maple Leaf Gardens, gets the hand as he hangs onto it.
Well, Alan Vester, as you can see, still has his Toronto Maple Leaf gold gloves. He's with Detroit next year. They'll be red. Here's the great chance Lehman had. He had to wait for McCrimmon to go down, and then he got it up over him and missed the net. Puck was over to the point to Ellett, who lets a real hard shot go that Vester stops and then smothers in quite a traffic jam.
Jeff Reese is the goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs in this hockey game. Alan Vester has not won a game this season. He's 0-6-0.
Well, we know that this game's a little special for him, Bob, the first time back at Maple Leaf Gardens as a member of the Red Wings. And this is also Brad Marsh's first game back as a member of the Red Wings, although he has played against the Leafs at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit.
Minute and a half left in the Leaf power play. Lehman with the puck inside the line. Burr, the Detroit goal scorer, couldn't take it away from him. Clark, near the blue line, winds up and fakes the shot. Leafs keep it in, pass it around again to Lehman. Along the board, swings with the box set up in front of Vester. Into the corner it goes. Cecil to Lehman. To the line, Petit to Lehman. Shoots. Up down. Clark the rebound. Can't jam it home. And the puck goes flying off the glass and into the crowd.
Well, here are the players who are not playing in tonight's game. The Red Wings decimated with injuries, and some of them really serious. Jason maybe not back for the playoffs. Barr, Gallant, Kay definitely out for the rest of the season. Probert is hurt in the immigration department again. Bobby Dulles hurt his foot last night. Glenn Hanlon's the only healthy scratch for the Leafs. Not quite as badly off. Luke Richardson and Rob Sameta. Richardson suspended for tonight's game as he took a second game misconduct last night.
And Hadshide, who is dressed for Detroit, is nursing a sore shoulder. Yes, they're in bad shape coming into the playoffs. Long shot kicked out. Bradley picks it up around the net. Bradley back to the line and Ellen again. The shot deflected high. Goes into the corner to the right of Vester. 40 seconds left in the power play for the Maple Leafs. Trying to tie the game here in the first period is Ellen. Ellen passes off to Bradley to Ellen again. Ellen winds up, no shot. Sharp angle Bradley. Stopped by Vester. It was cleared by Yves Racine down the ice. Reese out of the net, starting Ellen away again. Into Dom Foose and Bradley. Going for the net. This shot, Vester didn't see it, but it was over the goal. Bradley, back to the net. Dom Foose trying to center. He fell. Play goes on. Marsh, another crowd favorite here at Maple Leaf Gardens, clearing it down the ice, and Zombo is out of the penalty box. 1-0, Detroit leading. Sean Burr's goal came while Clark on the Maple Leafs was off for hooking, and that was at 2:29. Bullet shot by Burr from 35 feet. The 7-minute mark of period number 1. We remind our stations along the network that the commercial coming up is position number 2. Another Detroit penalty right now.
Detroit penalty number 2, Brad McCrimmon, 2 minutes for high sticking. 9-6.
Is in the box now for high sticking.
1-0 Red Wings, 13:09 left in the first period, and number 2, Brad McCrimmon, takes a slashing penalty. It's out of the replay there, and the Leafs do get their second power play. Alan Vester had to make a couple of good stops on the last power play the Leafs had.
Leafs have had 5 shots on Vester. Detroit 2 shots. and 1 goal. So 1-0 as the Leafs are on another power play, and Clark is in there. Clark, Zazzle, and Lehman the forward line for the Maple Leafs. And the puck cleared out. Gill, the defenseman, along with Ramage. Detroit intercepting. Burr across the line, backs up a bit, kills some time on the clock. Played over to Zombo, and he shoots it down the ice. Miller is number 23 for Detroit. Abscheid comes on, Burr going off. Leafs are offside. Lehman away ahead of the play on the pass by Gill. He was in there.
Well, neither the Detroit Red Wings or the Toronto Maple Leafs are among the leaders in the special team department. You can see the Red Wings are 20th in both penalty killing and power play. The worst you can be is 21st, and the Leafs a little better, but not much, 19th and 14th. And that's possibly why neither one of these teams has had the kind of year that they'd like. Lately, the Leaf power play has been a little more efficient. But over the long haul, they haven't done much.
Leafs, of course, out of the playoffs. Detroit, you said, Harry, cannot beat Chicago, but they're going to have a tough time with all the injuries.
Yeah, they're on the borderline anyway of being as good as St. Louis and Chicago. They're going to play one of those two teams. And without the fellows we saw on the injured list, I don't think they can do it.
Leafs power play. Long shot, missed the net. Bradley dumped it back to the goal. This is Dom Foos hoping somebody is loose out front. He finds the defenseman all the way at the line. Ellett played it in there, and there's his shot. Hit the side of the net. And Crossman couldn't clear it out. 40 seconds left on this power play for Toronto. Ellett gets in front, took a shot. That's blocked neatly by Abscheid. Down the ice again. 30 seconds to go on the power play. Out from center, in it goes. Marois, Downfoos, and Bradley are skating them there for Toronto. But the Red Wings will send them all back. 20 seconds left in the penalty to McCrimmon. Here's Bradley going in over the line and passed it along the blue line to Downfoos, and he is turning with it. Lost it. It's out again. And the penalty about over. McCrimmon standing up, ready to come back on. Now he is on the ice. And the Red Wings on the attack. Fedorov ends up in the net and just missed scoring. Leafs trying to get it out. Troy keeping the puck in. Comes out over the line, and Zombo dumped it in, and Gill hands it off to Michel Petit. To Gill again. On the boards with it to center ice. Loisel, number 15, missed it. Fedorov. Good low shot. Saved by Reese, no problem. Again from the blue line. Reese kicks one out. Troy keeping the pressure on. Now the Leafs pick it up and come out. Gill across center has to backhand it in. Nearing the 10-minute mark of the first period. 1-0. Red Wings leading. Sean Burr's power play goal. Leafs in. Krushelnyski's shot. Deflected by Zombo. It is into the crowd, and the play is stopped again with 10:09 left in the period. What has happened?
I'll have to phone my old friend Roger and find out why the bottom of the elevator fell out.
Just over the halfway mark of the first period as Hannon picks it up at center and shoots it in for Reed. Dave Reed stopped along the boards by Crossman. But it's McGuire shoving it out front of the goal. And in turning with it. And to hurry a pass. Went on an open wing for Yzerman. He cleared it to center. Primo tried to go in. The play is stopped at the Maple Leaf blue line.
When you're busy, Reed.
And it's tough to win games when you get yourself in a hole right away as often as the Leafs have against this team this year.
Yzerman won the face-off, and it was tossed into the Leaf zone. Yzerman, number 19. He has Miller on the right side, 23. And Primo, 55 on the other wing.
Bob Yzerman's playing on two lines. They've only got 11 forwards dressed and 7 defensemen, so lots of ice time for Yzerman tonight.
It's bad news for Toronto. Yzerman tipped it up across center. Gets it again. He has to wait. Now he backtracks a bit, giving it to McCrimmon. Yzerman is coming in on that wing. Yzerman cutting in front of the net on a great play. On a nice stop by Jeff Reese. You hardly thought there was enough room to cut in front of the net, but he did.
And Jeff Reese got hurt as Yzerman cut around the Leaf defenseman. He was knocked right into Reese, who has not moved from this position since the collision. Steve Yzerman, with that great skating ability and agility that he has, he cut outside the Leaf defenseman, got a chance on Reese, couldn't put it in, and then Yzerman and the Leaf defenseman both piled into Jeff Reese.
Peter Eng is the backup goaltender tonight for the Maple Leafs, and here he is.
Well, by the looks of how Reese is not moving, Peter better get limbering up on the bench. Let's have a look at that again. Steve Yzerman, who's about as quick as a hiccup, gives us another little lesson here on that he's dangerous everywhere. And he cuts right around the Leaf defenseman, and then you can see the pileup that occurred. And Jeff Reese hit his back, it looked like, on the goalpost. Now, whether that's where he got hurt or not remains to be seen, but this guy's got a pair of awfully quick feet. It's Foligno that can't handle him. And then Reese hits his back right there, Bob, as Yzerman, Foligno pile into him.
Looked like Todd Gill ran into Yzerman, trying to check him in case there was a rebound.
Chris Broadhurst, the trainer's been out in the ice more than a lot of the Leaf players lately. He was out there Wednesday night in L.A. when Tom Fergus took that awful hit from Dave Taylor. And this scene is familiar, except Fergus was on his back talking to the trainer and Reese on his stomach.
Dr. Leith Douglas is the Leaf doctor, and he is at the end of the bench right now, and I believe the doctor will be coming out. Here he comes now. Dr. Douglas is coming out onto the ice. This does not look good for Jeff Reese, and I believe the doctor turned back toward the clinic and asked for a stretcher. We'll see. But Reese, as you can tell, has not moved, and Peter Eng is getting ready to come on the ice.
Well, they don't take any chances, very wisely so, when it's back or neck injuries, and it appears that that is the problem with Jeff Reese, and we saw by the replay that he hit the goalpost pretty hard. And so now they're bringing the stretcher out. Here it is here. Foligno pushes Yzerman after Yzerman gets the shot, and then Yzerman runs into Todd Gill. So it's and Reese slides into the post, and of course the goalies have all kinds of protections on the front of their uniform, but not much on the back, and he may have hurt himself sliding into the post with two players on him.
Tom Fergus just recently had to leave the ice on a stretcher, and unfortunately tonight Jeff Reese, the starting goaltender, is injured here at 11 minutes and 7 seconds of the first period, in a game in which Detroit has scored the only goal so far. Sean Burr on a Detroit power play, 1-0, and the Red Wings are in front. Dr. Douglas is out there now with the members of the medical staff here at Maple Leaf Gardens. And a very concerned Tom Watt.
Tom is thinking now, it looks like Jeff's in deep trouble here. Peter Eng will go in, but do they have a third goalie? Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, the guy that played so well last night in Detroit for the win, has gone to rejoin Newmarket. So he's not here. And the reason they played Rhodes at kind of a weird time was that they wanted to get one goalie in their organization to play one full NHL game, and they will expose Rhodes on the expansion draft in June when the San Jose Sharks and the Minnesota North Stars pick 20 players, 10 each, from the existing 20 teams roster.
A very unfortunate accident with the Red Wing captain Steve Yzerman cutting in around Mike Foligno from the left side, and he hardly had room, but somehow he stepped out in front of the net, then was checked. Todd Gill was one Leaf player in there, along with Foligno, of course, and Yzerman was checked into the net area, and as a result, Reese toppled over and hit the goalpost as he was sliding back. The net, of course, knocked off the moorings, and Dr. Douglas has called for the stretcher, and now they're getting ready to take Jeff Reese for examination at the clinic here at Maple Leaf Gardens.
Well, they put him on a little board here, I think, to lift him up, or a little stretcher so they can lift him up all at the same time and place him on the one with the wheels on it. Then they take the boards, the seats out at center ice, and now they can wheel him right between the benches without having to try and lift him over the boards and perhaps run into a problem there. So when they leave the rink, you see, they'll slide him through the opening there under the glass, and the first aid room is just to the left. And I think they'll just scoot him right out of this rink to the hospital, Bob, don't you?
It appears that way now, because Dr. Douglas looked rather concerned as he first had a look at Jeff Reese, who has not moved on his own. And Dr. Douglas, I saw him turn back toward the clinic area and wave, not quite frantically, but close to it. In other words, hurry with that stretcher.
Well, the problem is that the goaltender, Jeff Reese, had no trouble and no chance at all to brace himself. Remember, Yzerman had shot the puck, and it was somewhere in the paraphernalia of Reese. And while he was trying to find the puck, Yzerman, Gill, and Foligno piled into him, and before he knew it, he was into the net.
This coming just past the halfway mark of the first period here at Maple Leaf Gardens. Captain Ramage and all the Leafs looking very, very concerned. The second last home stand for the Maple Leafs this season. The last one being Tuesday coming up against Chicago. And now they have the goaltender, Jeff Reese, onto that stretcher. And I think you're right, Harry. They'll take him directly to the hospital just up the road here, very close to Maple Leaf Gardens. Jeff Reese, the starting goaltender for the Maple Leafs, injured as he fell into the goalpost, making his own.
They say you get what you pay for.
Peter Ring, as you just heard, the PA announcer, is in goal now for the Maple Leafs.
Well, let's have one more look and see how Reese got hurt. Yzerman cutting around Foligno. There's the shot. It went off Reese's mask, and then the pileup that occurred, and Reese going into the net and knocking it off its moorings. And whether that was caused the problem, we don't know. But it looked like it was a back injury the way they took him. And Steve Yzerman, of course, had no opportunity to avoid the pileup there as he was cutting across to try and score. So Peter Ring goes in without a warm-up. I can't understand why he didn't take some shots against the boards while it was taking all the time to get Jeff Reese out of here.
So play is underway again here in the first period. Detroit leading 1-0 on a power play goal by Sean Burr early in the period. Penalty coming up. This is going to be against Detroit as Ing scoots to the bench. And the Leafs, Loisel got in front of the net, but the pass was intercepted. Red Wings get position, and the referee, Bill McCrary, stops the play, and here's the penalty now to Detroit. Winnipeg and Edmonton. Winnipeg up 2-0 last we heard. Leafs on a power play. Master another save. He wants to shine tonight here at Maple Leaf Gardens. You can be sure of that.
Well, he's had some of his better games in this rink against the Red Wings, Bob. So maybe it's those red uniforms that bring out the best in Alan Vester. We will see.
Finally, the Wings get the puck out. Allen hammers hit back in. Burr can't clear it and hit Foligno. Better off. What a smoothie he is. Across center. Look at that nice pass. He gets in front with a return pass. Burr, backhander from his knees. Deflected off the net. 1:10 left on this Leaf power play. Potvin is in the penalty box for Detroit. 1-0. The Red Wings are leading. Doing a good job killing this penalty. And Burr just rolled it up inside the Maple Leaf line. Red Wings change. Bradley starting out on the right side. Puck goes into the corner to Wendell Clark. Takes his time skating to the blue line, and from up in an open wing on the right side. Dom Foose could not get near him, but he stopped this clearing shot by Marsh. Now Marsh has a chance to recover, and he does. Playing it outside the line, hitting the boards, and getting it by Ramage. 20 seconds left on the Leaf power play, and Ellen gives it to Bradley this time. Turning back to Dom Foose. Dom Foose has to swing back with it, hangs onto it, to the line of Ramage to Ellen. To Dom Foose again. 8 seconds left on the power play as Ramage picks it up and fires one. He missed the net. The puck will get outside the line, and Potvin is on the ice again. 6:20 remaining in the period. Bester stopping one from center ice, and here is Eiserman. Starting it down to Garpenlov. Garpenlov coming in the slot, but he overskates it. And the Leafs Marwal was back to Dom Foose. He is bumped on the play by Crossman. Played out over the line. Close to it by Shannon. Now they get it out. 5:50 to play in the period. Crossman backing with it to Potvin. The shot knocked down. Another shot, and he finds it. Hangs onto it. It bounced high. Hit him on the shoulder, and then he put the glove down on the loose puck in front of him.
They all laughed at Christopher Columbus when he said the world was round.
They said a car that paid so much attention to handling its passengers would have nothing left for handling the road. They haven't driven the new Ford Crown Victoria.
Ho, ho, ho. Who's got the last laugh now?
More room, more agile. More than ever, it's the new Crown Victoria.
That's nice.
A power play goal by Sean Burr. Right now, the teams are at full strength, and the Leafs had a 3-on-1, but a scrap broke out in behind the play. Petit and Fedek.
Well, Fedek was certainly the aggressor in this one, and it's very unlike Brent Fedek to get involved physically. It's always been one of the knocks on him as a player. He's a bright player. He's a good-sized kid. He's smart. He can skate, but not much in the way of combativeness. But something must have happened earlier in the shift for Mr. Fedek to get as involved as he did. Brent Fedek leads his team in the plus-minus department with a +20. Comes in for the takeout on Petit. Oh, you can see what upset him. Petit cross-checked him right across the face as Fedek came in for the check. But Fedek, I think, will get the aggressor here unless the referee saw the cross-check too.
It happens at 5:35 left to the period, and we'll get the announcement on the penalties. Both are off, of course. Fedek and Petit, they were throwing punches.
Well, as I mentioned, Brent Fedek leads his team in the plus-minus with a +20 and has had 6 points in the last 8 games, and really has been one of the pleasant surprises on this team to the new Red Wing coach, Brian Murray.
Penalty to number 14, Brent Fedek. 2 minutes for instigating, 5 minutes for fighting. Toronto penalty to number 22, Michel Petit, 5 minutes for fighting.
Minor penalty to
14-25.
He was the instigator, and they both got majors. Steve doesn't like it.
So, what did
29 of this first period? And the Leafs, the man advantage now. They're 0 for 3 in the power play in this first period. Shot 7-6 in favor of Toronto. Fleming shoots it in. Dazzle picked it up on a skate, gave it to Lehman. Lehman back to the line to Ellen. Ellen's shot off the goal post. Ramage and Clark. Clark's shot. Quick one that was blocked. Dazzle has to go back off the boards to Ramage to Clark again. Clark back to Ellen. He fired one in. That's wide of the net. Clark is on it very quickly. He's coming in front of the goal. Can't get a shot, though. It was off Eiserman. Now Ellen from the blue line. He has to go to Ramage. His drive. That hit Clark and bounced away from the net. Again, Ramage for Ellen. Barely onside. Ellen slipped it ahead for Lehman. He'll go back to Ellen. Ellen nearly lost it, but he kept it in there. In back of the goal again. Combo reaching forward, and here comes Ramage. Only one defenseman back in the blue line. That was Ellett, and he had no chance to stop that clearing pass. 35 seconds left on the lead power play. Detroit intercepting. It is Burr coming in there again on the backhand. Oh, a close call on the far side. Ing was hugging the post, cutting off the short side. 24 seconds left on the power play. Ramaged, knocked down. The play goes right on. The fans wanted a penalty against the Red Wings. 10 seconds from now, they'll be at full strength again. Shannon backs up in his own zone. Primo is serving the minor penalty against Fedek, who also got a major along with Michel Petit of the Maple Leafs. Primo out of the box, into the play. Can't pick up the puck though near center. Coming on is Fedorov. His shot stopped by Ing. Bounced high down in front of the slot. Turning around is Fedorov. He lost control of it, and now there's a penalty coming up. And I think this is going to be against Burr of Detroit. We'll wait and see. There's Jeff Reese now leaving Maple Leaf Gardens on the stretcher, and as we thought, he'll be going off to the hospital for examination, and of course, we will keep you posted the moment we hear. So he'll be going up the street to the hospital. This is a Toronto penalty. Gill.
Well, I don't know whether the referee saw the slash, but he certainly could have heard it, because we heard it right up here. And there's Jeff Reese. He's talking to the ambulance person there, and Todd Gill gets a slashing penalty. So a 3:19 left in the first period. The Wings get a chance to go on the power play. And as we saw already, their power play is 20th in the league.
They're 1 for 1 tonight on their goal by Burr. Early power play for Detroit, and another now. Fedorov is on with Crossman. Yzerman with the puck. Garpenlov is also on there, and Miller. Leafs break it up and put it out over the line. Brought back in by Garpenlov to Fedorov. Knocked away from Yzerman. Crossman going in on the boards, and he can't handle it. But here's Yzerman again. Kicked it ahead and made a play and got it back again. Side of the net it goes. Miller cuts it out front, and a shot deflected wide. 1:20 left on the power play. Detroit with the lead 1-0. And the extra man now, and here they come again. Yzerman, good move at center. Goes in over the line. Nobody touching him so far. Yzerman moving in now. Tried to set it up. The Leafs do not clear it out. It got to Fedorov, and his shot is blocked. Garpenlov fed it in front of the net, and now Ramage will shoot it down the ice.
The first report on Jeff Reese's injury from the doctor is that they don't think it's serious, but with an injury like to the back or the neck, they take him to the hospital to make sure they're right. So that's as good a report as you can get at this point. Well, here's one of the great young rookies in the National Hockey League this year. He leads the rookies in scoring and does so by quite a margin. The Detroit Red Wings have 3 rookies in the top 9 scorers in the rookie department this year. Garpenlov is one of them, but Sergei Fedorov really looks like money in the bank for the Red Wings. Pretty soon you're not going to care whether it's 19 with the puck or 91 with it. They're both going to make good things happen.
They're so exciting to, and both so very, very smooth. Early in the period, Fedorov made a pass of about 110 feet and right on the tape of a winger taking off. Beautiful pass down the far side. 2 minutes left in the first period. Detroit leading 1-0.
The other rookie, Yzerman, is not playing tonight. He's got a bad thumb, but he's 9th in the rookie scoring.
This is Carson starting to play in there for the Red Wings. Slapped away by Shannon and down the ice again. 25 seconds left in Todd Gill's penalty. Yzerman picks it up deep in his own zone. Hands it off to the left side. Berg got as far as center, and the Leafs are going to shoot it down the ice again. It's in over the line. Racine up to Primo. He got in there, but couldn't make a play on the left wing for Carson. And again, hand in there, but can't get it out. Now the penalty is over. The Red Wings on the puck. Carson turning, shooting. And that's blocked. Gill trying to get going. Racine catching up. He got a shot away. And a pretty good one. He got the puck again. And Gill's backhander was off the mark this time. 1 minute left in the first period. Puck high and it hit Primo on the face. Near the Detroit bench just as he was going off. Allen's shot is blocked. Clark picks it up, back to the goal. Clark swings out front. Clark's shot through a crowd. Investor saw it. And he's down on all fours to make sure there is no damage. Coming up tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock on the CBC television network, please tune in and watch the Montreal and Toronto alumni in their very first alumni game for the King Clancy Cup. Here's one of the veterans, Dan Maloney.
We're not going to tip too many people off, Bob, if we say he got a nice goal.
Well, I guess you have now. He did. He was one of the scorers. You want to see the rest, tune in tomorrow at 2 o'clock on CBC television, and guaranteed you'll enjoy it. These veterans were really, really good. The game played last night here at Maple Leaf Gardens.
It was quite a show.
Talking to them after, they were also very, very concerned and very proud to know that they played well. They did. A lot of pride in the old stock.
15 Hall of Famers in that game and 148 Stanley Cup rings.
Only 15 seconds remaining in the period. Play stop. Clark shaken up. T is out of the penalty box.
The Detroit Red Wings have used a record 45 players this year because of injuries, trades, demotions, and call-ups. The Leafs aren't very much better off with 44, but in addition to making it tough to get anything going with that many players in and out of your lineup, think of what the owner thinks, because you got to pay them all. Pay the ones that are hurt, pay the ones that you bring up, and some of the ones that you bring up were making minor league salaries till they got to this league, and then you have to pay them major league money.
McCrimmon around the net for Detroit. Takes a quick look up at the clock, and he sees 5 seconds up there, so he tries to hustle in for his shot. Hands it off, though, and the horn goes, ending the first period. The only goal of the period scored by Sean Burr, his 19th of the season. It came on a Detroit power play at 2:29. Miller and Crossman assisted on that goal. The Leafs Wings were even in shots, 9 apiece. Coming up next in our first intermission, Don Cherry in our coach's corner. The score at the end of the first period, Detroit 1, Toronto no score.
Canada's proudest regiment, the 48th Highlanders, they brought this to Don because in Chatelaine, I expected you'd be in there, there was a little column on you, and it said your favorite movie is Gunga Din, based on the Rudyard Kipling poem about British soldiers in India that's tribute to bravery, courage, adventure, and the Scottish Highlanders, who are my favorite soldiers. That's what Don said in Chatelaine.
Sharp angle, stopped by Peter Ring. Foligno bringing the puck back out for Toronto. Lost control as he crossed center ice. And Zombo turning around with Racine. His long pass stopped by Gill. And it goes again, and Zombo is back there. No icing. Bradley chased him. Marois forechecking. And Sean Burr, the only goal scorer in the game so far, put a shot in there off a stick. Rebound. And the high shot by Shuchuk deflected.
This portion of Hockey Night in Canada.
20 or more goals, but they're counting on 40 from him.
Long shot by Shannon was blocked. Fedorov can't get the puck out on the first try. Second one, he's out. And the pass gets down over the stick of Sean Burr. T back to the net for Toronto. Gets a little bit of steam up himself as he gives it to Bradley. He can really go. Here's Marois. He was tied up by Fedorov, who came back. Marois again around the net. Dropped it there. covering as Bester had a skate jammed against the post. And he holds it there for a face-off. We'll be right back after this message.
Period.
He's number 93. And out there now with Ellis. The Detroit Red Wings come in. From the corner, Ella takes his man in on the boards and no further play. We have an update for you now, and here again is Ron.
Bob, this is from the Forum. The New Jersey Devils and Canadiens with the Habs up by 2 after one period. Ron McLean on the power play has brought the Devils back into it. His 45th on the year, beats Patrick Roy to make it a one-goal game in Montreal.
After tonight, New Jersey has 4 games remaining. They have 75 points. Boy, it's a tough race in the Patrick division.
Next Sunday night, before we know probably who's going to be where in that division.
They're 4th going into today's action in that division. Leafs looking for a goal. Can't get a shot on the net on this rush. Gdynia played it across center ice. Carson took him in on the boards. Gdynia again comes up with it and goes in. Gets loose for a shot at the crossbar. The post of the bar. Good shot and a fine effort by Gdynia. Appeared to be tied up, but he got loose. Marsh played it in on the right side. And a hard shot by Potvin going down. Here's Fedek's shot. Hurt, I believe, with the first shot. And very slow getting back on his skates. He's not up yet. The referee is back there and now calls the play. And Reese started the game. He left with an injury, and now Peter Ing has been hurt.
He was hit right on the mask or the helmet with that bullet shot. And don't forget now, Jeff Reese is not available to come in. Rhodes, the kid who played last night, is with Newmarket. They're off on the road somewhere. And the question is, if Peter Ing can't continue, Bob, it's between you or I who go down and plays goal for the Leafs, and I'm not leaving the booth.
Well, I was just going to say, I think I'll stay here for tonight. Here's the shot. It was a wicked drive. Ing had some problem picking it up, and it hit him high on the shoulder. Now look at him. He's down, and he stays there.
He makes a save when I'm sure he has no idea where he is. He tries to get up now as the puck went out of the zone and fell back down. He appears to be all right. But another example of the goalie's mask saved his life, perhaps. And Tom Watt is breathing a little easier because unless they got a secret goalie in the audience here, I don't know what they'd do.
It's 1-0, Detroit leading.
Okay.
He's okay. And Gill shoots it from center. Shots are 12-10 now in favor of the Red Wings. They're leading 1-0, and Ramage at his own blue line. Put it up for McGuire. He was checked. The Red Wings are on it, trying to come in. They do not get very far. Hampshire is stopped. Hannon brings it in for Toronto. Flipped it in toward the net. And turning around is Racine to get it out to Yzerman. Right side. Karpinov shot. Ing. Problem with that one. Bounce down in the corner. Racine off his skate. And hustling back was Zombo. Up to Yzerman. Looking for some room. Can't find it against Hannon. Puck over the glass near the penalty box. And the play stopped. Troy got the only goal of the game early in the first period. Goal by Schomburg on a Detroit power play. Prior to tonight's game, Maple Leaf Gardens honored our service people who served in the Persian Gulf. A very touching ceremony when Master Corporal Louise Williams of Lloydminster, Saskatchewan, leading seaman Jerry Ross, Spring Hill, Nova Scotia, and Master Corporal Donald Andrea of Sydney, Nova Scotia received a resounding standing ovation and a big thank you from this great Saturday night crowd at Maple Leaf Gardens. These were the ceremonies before the game tonight. And it was very touching.
Yes, it was. The crowd was motivated into a long-standing ovation for these three great Canadians.
Fedorov on a break now, one man to beat. Look at this! He fired the shot wide, but what a great move he made to get in there for the shot. Fedorov, number 91 with Detroit. Near center ice. Schuchuk, number 48, tried to play it in. Petit takes it now, back of the net for the Maple Leafs. Backhands it high, and it hit a Detroit player. Pass in off the boards. Fester, very, very steady for the Red Wings. He's had 11 shots so far. The Leafs in after him now. It's played in back of the goal. Krushelnyski and Todd Gill is moving in from the blue line. Loisel reaching forward and missed it. Foligno has it for Loisel. Here's Brad Marsh. Poked it away. Gill can't stop his man, and the puck is into the center ice zone. Elliott dumped it back in. Crossman turns in front of Vester. Passed it out right onto Foligno's stick. Loisel, Foligno, Krushelnyski going after it. The pass in front of Foligno. He is covered in time by Crossman. Red Wings, Garpenlaw, pass behind him. It'll go right to the net. Ing was out. Yzerman nearly knocked it down. Foligno to center with Loisel taking the pass and then taking a hit from Brad Marsh. Nearing the 6-minute mark of the period. Period number 2. Red Wings with a 1-0 lead. Yzerman in there. Shot deflected wide of the goal. Clark has the rebound and dumped it over on the far side and at the line. It's tipped in front of the net by Yzerman. A close call. Neale knocked it in there for him. Yzerman lost it and it bounced to center ice. Fedek. He stopped. Here's Elliott. Moving up for Toronto with Clark. The shot deflected by Zombo. Elliott goes off. Zezel is on the ice for Toronto with Lehman. Neale pass to the cross center. Detroit shooting it in was Putman. Fedek after it. Ing saw him come in. Fedek turned with the puck. Played it into Putman in the corner. He's a tough customer. Knocking Zezel to the ice. Clark after McCrimmon. Missed him. McCrimmon slapped at it and went in wide of the goal. And now back to Lehman and he's away. A 3-man attack for the Maple Leafs. Lehman over the line and offside was Michel Petit, the defenseman, who got up in the rush. Pass out over the line by Gudinyuk. Bradley brought it in with Domfus and Marwoff hand on it. Now Domfus, and he can't handle the pass. Fedorov fired one on the boards. Doesn't get it out. There's Domfus centering and Bradley shot. In a pretty good spot, but he couldn't get the shot through. It was blocked. Domfus turned around. Detroit trying to clear it is Fedorov now. Finds the opening and a nice pass for Burr. Burr getting away from Gudinyuk. He's going in there for Fedorov. Fedorov back of the net. One hands it out front. He smothered it. But a nice play again by Fedorov, who circled everybody and the net. And with one arm came out and nearly knocked it in.
Well, Vincent Domfus was very upset with the Red Wing player Suchak, who went to the net and got himself in the crease. I don't know whether penalties coming out of this or not. I expect so.
It's a 1-0 hockey game, and Detroit has the only goal.
More car than you expect for less than you think. The 1991 Sonata.
Update action again from the Montreal Forum. The Canadians leading New Jersey 2-1. Claude Lemieux here scores his 29th goal on the year and then is run into the plexiglass and left dazed. He went off with an odd feeling after bringing the Devils even at the Forum.
Ron Burr, the only goal of this hockey game so far from Miller and Crossman at 2:29 of the first period on a Detroit power play. Ellett and Schuchuk are in the penalty box now. Ellett cross-checking, Schuchuk slashing. 8 minutes gone in the second period. Gill shoots one in. McGuire is on it first. Sambo couldn't stop him. McGuire again against Sambo. It's tapped back to the line for Gill. On the backhand, he won't get a shot from that angle. Hotman was all over him. Here's Fedek moving up the ice with Carson. Fedek. Carson covered in front of the goal. He couldn't do much with it. Cannon racing back for Toronto. And he's poke-checked on the blue line, and Carson going the other way now. It's opened up a bit. Carson trying to pass it through. Now here's a chance. Coming down McGuire, and trailing is Gill. McGuire spots Gill. Back to McGuire, going in. Tried the shot, and Reed rammed into the crossbar and knocked the net flying. And that again stops the play with 11:17 remaining in the second.
Hello, I'm Roger Yunker, and with me is Candace McDonald, this year's Easter Seals ambassador. This coming Monday night for 3 hours, CBC Television is very proud to present the annual Rotary Easter Seals Telethon.
Join us starting at 7 for a great 3-hour show.
That's this coming Monday night, March the 25th, for 3 hours, as Candace has mentioned, from 7 to 10, right after Compass, right here on CBC Television.
Winnipeg is in a dogfight with Vancouver for that last playoff spot. And they're visiting Edmonton tonight. And during our second intermission, we're going to take a trip out there and show you some action live. Inside Hockey tonight features the future superstar Eric Lindros. Quebec doesn't need him tonight. Last report, 7-2 over Hartford. A tough one on Hartford, and good for our fans tuning in from Buffalo tonight.
Especially with Buffalo taking a pasting this afternoon in the Boston Garden.
Primo is charging in there. Ing was out of the net. It got to the line where McClellan stopped it, and then Clark cleared it out. He's on with Zezel and Lehman for the Maple Leafs. Abshine with Yzerman and Primo for Detroit. Here's Primo to Yzerman. Never a mistake. Yzerman waits, took a shot, deflected it, got the wing, and he steered it away. Lehman trying to move it out. Shannon picks it up and cleared it to center to Zezel. He tried to put it in on the left wing, and that's hammered high to center ice. Zezel moving on it, backhands it in across the line. Leads are changing as the Red Wings try to come out. Primo takes the pass, leaves it at center for Yzerman, and he skates in. All kinds of moves on the Leaf defenseman Michel Petit. Now it's poked away. 2-on-1. Loisel. Polino. The pass behind him. Wojciechowski moving up. Knocked it down. And Yzerman. The Leafs press Detroit now. It is Loisel moving along the blue line. To Ramage. The long shot. It's off the glass. Gill knocked it down and took a shot at a crowd. Marsh is going to clear it. Not all the way out, though. Krushelewski hauled to the ice. Play goes on as the fans thought maybe a penalty would come there. Yzerman is moving back. Can't get the puck out. Now it rolls out over the line. Moving down is Miller. Dropped it back. Burr going for the net, but Ing made the save, and Burr got a piece of him. Ing didn't like that. Brad Marsh. Tried to move it up to Miller again. Ramage. His pass stopped. 9 minutes left in the second period. Fedorov moving away from one and another. Fell down. Got up. Going in. Splitting the defense. Great moves by Fedorov. Back to the line. Zambo's shot. And Fedorov is in there. They bang away at it. Fedorov centered it again. What a rush by Fedorov that was. Leaves out. Marois moving up. Marois dropped it back. Krushelewski going for the net. Loose puck in front of Master. Zambo coming up with it for Detroit. Out with Sean Burr shooting it from center. The Red Wings are going to make changes as Shannon goes around the net. Long pass under the stick of Dom Foose and off it again. He's in against Racine. Dom Foose good along the boards, but this time he's pinned. Leafs keep it in. Dom Foose left it for Bradley, and he gave it away to Carson. Carson on the boards to Potvin. Red Wings start out. Pass a little bit hot and high for Fedek to handle. Shannon played it on the boards. It's stopped by McCrimmon at the blue line. Red Wings looking for it. Hit the side of the net with a pass out. Near the line. Green's shot is blocked. Hit Bradley's skate now, and it stays in there for Petit. And he lifts one off the boards and gets it out of the zone.
Well, the Leafs have mounted no offense at all this period, Bob. They've had 2 shots on goal.
7 minutes and 30 seconds left in the second period. Zezel trying to start something. Scrap will break up now and behind Peter Ang.
Mark Potvin and Wendell Clark. Clark got Potvin's mask off. He's playing with getting over a broken cheekbone. And so he's got the full face mask.
Clark getting loose. And the right hand loose. And Ray Scampanello this time is staying his distance. Clark got the left loose now.
Potvin was recalled last week from Adirondack, where in 63 games he had 365 minutes in penalties. But it's pretty tough when you fight and want to fight when you're wearing a full face mask. Clark had to rip it off his head before he got a chance to battle. But on the other hand, this young guy, who is a tough customer, broke his cheekbone, and you can't blame him for wearing some protection, but really, he shouldn't get involved in any fights until he gets that big mask off.
Only 7:22 left in the second period now. 1-0 Detroit.
Introducing the Dodge Shadow S and the Plymouth Sundance S, the smart cars from Chrysler. They've got the largest engines in their class, but we kept the fuel economy high. That's smart. We gave you lots of legroom, but didn't cramp on cargo space. That's also smart. Then we gave the Sundance Shadow S an unbelievably long warranty, an incredibly low price, and an introductory offer of automatic transmission, which is not only smart, it's brilliant.
At the Montreal Forum, the New Jersey Devils, who could actually secure third spot in the Patrick Division with a victory tonight in Montreal, go ahead of the Canadiens 3-2 on Peter Stastny's 18th goal of the year.
Well, there's Mr. and Mrs. Illich, the owners of the Detroit Red Wings, and they spent millions of dollars purchasing a plane and then more money refurbishing it to make the life on the road more comfortable and travel for their Red Wing team a lot easier. The Red Wing players have responded with a scintillating 8-22 and 8 road record, with only 3 teams having a worse one than them. Maybe next year it'll be a bus that they refurbish for the Red Wings.
Clark got 2 minutes for instigating, and he and Potvin drew 5 minutes each for fighting, and Clark, I believe, hurt his hand in that brief scrap, and he has gone to the Leaf dressing room or the clinic across the way. Gary Lehman is in the box serving the minor penalty. So the Red Wings 1 for 2 in the power play tonight by virtue of the early goal in the first period by Sean Burr. And the man advantage again. Leafs get it out. Zezel poked at it, and Burr was knocked to the ice and hurt.
Right off the face-off, Bob. I don't know whether it was a stick or the puck came up, but he went down as soon as the puck hit the ice. Let's have a look at it. I'm not sure whether any of the 3 officials saw it. Burr is all right. He's cut. But he went down. Now watch the face-off right here. The puck goes down.
The stick comes up.
And Peter Zezel just trying to pick Sean Burr's stick up, pitchforks him right here. You see, he's got his stick under Burr's, and he's trying to hold Burr's stick away while he steps out toward the half-one draw. And there's Sean trying to get a 5-minute major. But I don't think he's going to get anywhere, do you?
Ron Murray is up on the bench over there, and he doesn't like the non-call.
There's not a penalty, Sean says. Now he's going over to say to the linesman, didn't you see it? You dropped the puck. Didn't you see it? But they're not going to win this argument.
So what's done is done. A minor penalty against the Maple Leafs earlier. 1:56 left on it. That was the instigator against Wendell Clark. The Red Wings lead 1-0. They've outshot the Maple Leafs 18-11, and here they go again. That shot, he got a piece of it. Fedorov in with a high blast. Red Wings stay on top of it. Leafs will clear it out. Cannon hangs on to it and then gets rid of it. He took a hit on the boards as he did. Scene ran into him. Reed is forechecking. Ramage and Gill are the Leaf defensemen trying to kill this penalty. It is Yzerman with Carson, Miller, Fedorov, Racine. They're all moving up now. Fedorov tucked it in along the boards into the corner. Gill hit Miller. The Leafs clear it down the ice. 6:30 left in the period. Yzerman takes the pass. Gives one himself. Fedorov! Steve Yzerman. Left it for Carson. Back to the line. Fedorov to Carson. He's turning away from Dom Fuchs. Into Yzerman. Back of the net. He's coming out front. Here he jammed it in. Got through everybody behind the goal, and the Leafs get it out. Wilkie, 2-on-1. Down. Trying to catch up. Dom Fuchs. Went high with it.
Fedorov, some nice back check. And that was a 2-on-1. Fedorov took it away from the Leafs.
In for Miller now. Off the boards with it, back to the line, and a shot deflected. Not much of a shot from the blue line. Fedorov had been checked very closely. Penalty is over now as Ing is down. Lehman is on the ice. He was up near center all alone, but Hannon didn't see him till now. Lehman and Dom Fuchs going in, and Lester had the angle covered perfectly. And Lester continues to stop the Leafs.
Building program here in Toronto.
Fifth time in 10. They missed the playoffs. Minnesota has been playing good hockey for the last 6 weeks. What they will do in the playoffs, they picked up the last spot in the North. The big question mark. There's going to be a penalty against the Maple Leafs on the play. Ramage sailing in there, checked his man. And the gathering occurs.
Ramage decked Gary Suchuk with a punch after they both collided and went into the glass, and he's going to get the penalty for that. Now, I don't know whether any other penalties will be added, but Suchuk, who is playing in his third game with the Red Wings, was recalled a week ago from Adirondack. He was picked 22nd overall in the '88 supplemental draft from the University of Wisconsin.
Has picked up a double minor. 2 minutes for roughing, 2 minutes for roughing. So 4 minutes. Ramage in the box.
Well, you're going to see the first penalty right here. Suchuk takes Ramage into the boards. Ramage doesn't like it. It comes across with a left that knocks Suchuk down. And then I guess Ramage picked up another roughing as other players got involved in the melee.
Detroit's power play 1 for 3 on this evening. The only goal on a power play early. Zezel going in on the short side. Nearly had a shot at Fester. Now the Red Wings will get organized deep in the zone. Crossman starts it out. Miller was up there and gets in, but he's offside. That was a close call. Miller in behind everybody. Offside. Burr has the only goal on the Detroit power play at 2:29 in the first period.
Well, Kevin Miller, who was just picked up in a trade
in goal for Detroit tonight, has had just 12 shots. That one a little high. Doesn't win the books as a shot on goal, even though he gloved it. Crossman brings it up over the blue line, leaves it for Yzerman, and he let fly with a shot and drove the stick away from Petit as he did. And that prevented the shot from getting on the net. Good play by Hannon. Dumped it just wide. Hannon, a bid for a shorthander. Here's Allen. Score!
The record, Bob. Dave Reed has tied Dave Keon's record of 8 shorthanded goals as he tipped Dave Ellett's point shot into the net. And here it is again. The puck goes back to Ellett, a nice low shot, and you can see that Reed redirected it as Crossman just stood there and watched him tie Dave Keon's record.
Assist number 4, Dave Ellett, and number 9, Dave Hannon. Time 16:05.
Here's another look at it. Now, if Crossman, the Red Wing defenseman, had just turned around and crowded Reed out of there, the score would have been still 1-0, but he paid no attention to Reed, and Reed tipped it in and scores his 8th shorthanded goal, and for the Toronto Maple Leafs, their 16th on the season.
The shorthanded goal by Reed comes at 16:05 of the second period. So now, it's tied at 1. Hannon and Ellett assisted on the goal. Great work by Hannon. He nearly scored himself just before. Cut back to the line. He's tucked away. Now Foose clearing it. 2:30 left in the double minor to Ramage. While the captain is in the penalty box, the Leafs have tied the game. Primo grabbed from behind, couldn't move on it. Gill played it to the blue line, and down the ice it goes. Racine back. It is Racine who'll carry the puck out. Comes up with Bird to his left. Through the middle is Carson. That's broken up. 1 minor penalty has been served. 1:55 left in the second one. The Ramage as Hannon is in again with Reed again. Reed is in front of the net, but the pass didn't reach him. And another penalty is coming up against the Red Wings on that play. Reed is hot. Killing penalties.
Well, Reed and Hannon causing all kinds of trouble, and as we said, it ties the club record in 8 shorthanded goals in one season held by Dave Keon. If you want to see Mr. Keon perform, take a look at the game tomorrow at 2, the Legends game, as Keon was the captain of the Leaf team. Here's the play by Hannon, who's trying to get it across to Reed so he could break the record, and Sean Burr nearly deflected it into his own net.
And a little bit later, 2 seconds after that play, McCrimmon drew a holding penalty, so he's in the penalty box. Ramage has 1:45 left in his double minor, and now McCrimmon starts his minor penalty for holding. 17-18, as you see, 1-1 the score. Zazzle on the face-off, flipped it into the corner. Zombo. Crossman gets it up. Shuchuk overskates it at center ice. And now Shannon has to go all the way back.
4 skaters against 4. Number 19's got a little more room to move out there for the Red Wings. The Leafs had better be careful of Yzerman. He thrives when there's a little bit more space.
Shannon shoots one in. Crossman was back. Zombo comes back to help. Team will cut it off. Trying to pass in front of Zazzle. It's tipped away to Yzerman. Yzerman is upended near center. And the Leafs are on the puck again at their own line. Petit to Gill. Offside. Zazzle, a close call at the Detroit blue line. That was, in fact, offside. Fedorov, number 91, and a real smoothie.
He's been held pointless his last 4 games, but has 11 in his last 12, and he dominates every offensive category among the new players in the National League, and he and Belfour for Chicago will get all the votes for the Rookie of the Year, I'm sure.
Todd Gill starting the Leafs back to center. Down Foose, stopped near the Detroit blue line. A minute and a half left in the period. Ramage will be on the ice in 35 seconds from now. Racine dropping it for Fedorov. Fedorov moving up into the corner and circling back with it. No, look at that, another nice pass. And the shot right on in the save. Once again, Fedorov threads the needle. Back to Racine. This one knifed away by Ing. Kept in by Green. Ellett missed a chance to clear it, and Ing comes up big. 1 minute left in the period. Held it back to the zone net for Toronto to Dom Foose on the other side. Off Bradley's skate down the ice. Marsh will be coming back, and they're going to call this one icing with 5 seconds left in the McCrimmon penalty.
Well, Reed and Hannon in on that short-handed goal.
You're in love.
Well,
great play.
When you tie Dave Keon's record, you better be proud. I know Dave's watching this game in Toronto. He's not heading back to Florida till tomorrow. And I'm sure he's one of the admirers of that record. That stood up a long time here in Toronto.
Dave Reed got off to a hot start this season, killing penalties and scoring goals. And he proved again tonight it's been no fluke. He was in the right spot. But what a great play by Hannon, though, to slip it over there. And then he tried to do it again and nearly did.
You know, if you want to vote for an unsung hero of the Toronto Maple Leafs, a guy who probably doesn't get the recognition he deserves, Dave Hannon is that, in my opinion, this year on this Toronto team.
He goes back to the goal. 40 seconds to play in the period. Zombo stopped it. Let it fly. And it bounced out in front of the net as Hing made the save. 30 seconds left in the period. Detroit have to back up with it. Zombo again. Up to Burr, and here's Hannon intercepting a pass and turning. Scooped it out to center ice. Marsh put it up across center. No icing this time. Only 15 seconds to play in the period. Ing trying to clear it the other way. Fenech saw that, but couldn't find it in time. And Hannon skates out again with Reed. Shoots it in. 5 seconds remaining. Zombo picks it up. That'll do it. Horn goes to end the second period. And over 2 periods, the shot's 25-14 in favor of Detroit. Only 1 goal in the first, and in the second, only a goal. That by Toronto's Dave Reed, a shorthanded goal. His 8th shorthanded goal of the season, 15th goal of the year. Hannon and Allen assisting at 16:05. Coming up next, we'll have action from the Coliseum in Edmonton. The Jets are there. The score at the end of the
scene of business in Pickering Village near Toronto, and Shop Talk this summer will surround Reed's 8th shorthanded goal of the year, tying Dave Keon's record. Now, at the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton tonight, the Jets, hoping to get to the Cup tournament, are playing the defending champs with the action in the third period. Don Whitman and Jim Poplinski.
At this time, we say hello again to those viewers in the East who have been watching the game between Toronto and the Red Wings. I'm Don Whitman along with Jim Poplinski and Scott Oak at Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton, where the Winnipeg Jets lead the Oilers 2-0 with 15:28 remaining in the third period. And the Winnipeg Jets are on the power play as Martin Jelena still has 1:12 left in his penalty.
Well, and to this point, Winnipeg hasn't looked real sharp on this power play. They certainly weren't sharp on the first 2 they had in the opening couple of periods. A crucial time. If they can net a goal here, they're in like flint.
Owsley has it for Winnipeg to Olsen. Olsen lets the shot go, and it's blocked. An injured player. Jeff Bukaboom.
Jeff Bukaboom. Yeah, you're right about Bukaboom. He timed his slide very, very well. Got right in front of the shot, but he didn't get it on a pad. And that's why he finds himself on the ice. It's a real art to block a shot, and the Oilers have a couple of defensemen that do it very, very well. But this isn't what you want to end up happening after you take the time to save your goalie. Bukaboom sliding. Keep the puck off the net. And Bill Ranford's happy about it. Bukaboom isn't. Glenn Anderson with some of the best balance in the National Hockey League, and I don't think a stick like that would ordinarily take him down. Maybe looking for an even up call. Anderson, a great talent.
49 seconds remaining in the penalty to Jelena, and Bukaboom is going to get up and skate off to the Edmonton bench.
So Bukaboom and Steve Smith have both played a very good game tonight, strong games, and when you look at the records in the Smythe division, you see very quickly why Los Angeles and Calgary are up towards the top. a real drop between Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Vancouver. They haven't had near the success against the divisional opponents. And that's the reason Vancouver and the Winnipeg Jets are fighting for a playoff spot, and the Edmonton Oilers are only one game over 500.
2-0, Winnipeg leading Edmonton, 49 seconds left in the power play.
Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. Toronto 1-1 at the end of 40 minutes of play. Burr and Reed, the goal scorers. By the way, Winnipeg's Mark Kumpel just scored in Edmonton, 3-0 there. Now, here's Brian McFarland with Inside Hockey and budding superstar Eric Lindros.
Why are these people lining up for a junior playoff game in Oshawa? They're here to see Eric Lindros, the most publicized junior player in hockey history. He led the Ontario League in scoring. He's big. He's tough. So popular, he already has several endorsement deals and his own highly coveted hockey cards. Last place Quebec, winners of the Lindros Derby, has earned the right to take him #1 in this year's entry draft.
I think he's the kind of player that has talent. Can play aggressive, can play in the traffic, likes pressure. And according to Rick Kornacki, he's a good team guy. And he's the kind of guy that sells the game. He's got charisma. So those are qualities that you don't find too often in a hockey player. That's why most teams, if they have the first pick, will pick him.
Pierre Pagé coyly indicates he'll select Lindros #1. But what about a pre-draft blockbuster deal? And will Lindros balk at playing in Quebec?
Of course, he has his preferences, but he also realizes that once it's determined that someone has that pick and they stand up and they select him, he'll look forward to the challenge of playing in that franchise, regardless of where it is, assuming that the financial considerations are all looked after.
If a deal can't be struck, Curran hints at some other options.
If it comes to pass that we have a problem, then of course we will have to reconsider some of those options. There are some viable options. What I'd like to do is I'd like to go into a negotiation in the frame of mind positive that we're going to be able to reach some sort of an agreement.
Come on, guys! Let's go!
Eric's parents, Carl and Bonnie, attend most of his games. How are they coping with all the publicity and attention their 18-year-old is receiving?
We're not.
Tell me about it.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of stress.
Basically, how do you deal with it all? There must be phone calls, 100 a day, that sort of thing. Can you give me some idea what it's like?
There are a lot of calls, and there's there are a lot of demands put on Eric. Plus, he's in school right now, and he's trying to pass his schooling, and I'm sure he worries at night. Like, that's what I think about, is how he feels about how things are shaking down, and I think he probably is pretty scared.
What pressure, says Eric to several reporters after the game. If this young man is under stress, he hides it very well.
You know, it's fun. You want to be out there, you want to be contributing, you want to win. I mean, there's no pressure. The only pressure I feel is the pressure I put on myself to perform, and whether how little or how great that is each night, you know, that's myself, that's what I feel, and I'm not affected anymore by what other people say.
Popular, personable, charismatic, Lindros has it all. Today, an autographed Lindros card is worth a bundle, and it'll soar in value when he becomes a superstar in the NHL.
Thank you, Brian. It's 1-1 Detroit-Toronto through 2. Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC returns in a moment. The Islanders 2 in a row for St. Louis on the victory side. Winnipeg's up 3 in Edmonton. New Jersey by 1 in Montreal, and we're all tied at 1 in Toronto. More in a moment.
Midas will look at your brakes 49 different ways free. Then we'll give you a
tie. Detroit scored first. Period number 1. The Leafs' a shorthanded goal in the second period. Detroit's goal was on a Red Wing power play by Burr. Reed shorthanded for Toronto. So now Loisel from center lifts a high one in wide of the net. Racine back for Detroit. Backhands it on the boards and got it out. The Leafs just dump it in again. Zombo for the Red Wings. Picked off by Marois. He's in there but was alone. Nobody to go to. Miller back up for Detroit. That's broken up in the Leaf line. So is Hannon. Zombo poking at it. It comes loose for the Red Wings. Fedorov. He's up over the line again. Fedorov hangs onto it. Looks around and now loses it against Petit. Hannon back up. Backhands it in for Marois. He's going in against Green. Green, the Red Wings. Left it in, but Crimmon knocked it away to the corner and Burr got it out and down the ice. So if it reaches the line, icing will be called. It got icing called against Detroit. Minute 35 into the third period.
Darren Shannon playing his 6th game as the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's one of the young defensemen along with Godinyak, perhaps Barahowski, who's back at playing junior in North Bay, and maybe a kid named Crowley, who plays at Boston University, are the 4 young defense prospects that the Toronto Maple Leafs hope will emerge into solid NHLers. But Bob, I think we can say this about the Leafs. They haven't had a great year, but they have improved their defense core since the start of the season. They could start with the same defense core and feel fairly comfortable next fall.
Well, the entire team, I think, has been better defensively. That's an understatement, I know. Certainly since last season. But the goals, that's a different story. This could be won by Petit. Burr blocked it. Petit again. Hit Burr a second time. Sean Burr comes out. Fedorov on his left. The pass, though, on his skate. And Lehman got back. Couldn't clear it out. Burr turning around for Detroit inside that line. Backhands it in wide of the goal. Shannon knocked his man flying. And put the puck up to the line where Lehman feeds it into Clark. Clark, no room to move toward the front of the net. Crimmon stayed with him all the way. Fedorov again, near center ice. Oh, move on Clark. Fedorov trying to go in. Very deceptive as he carries the puck. And he can turn it on, too, and for speed when he wants to. Took his time that time and moved Clark about 3 feet to one side before he skated away. Kushaleski left it for Ellett. Shot. That one deflected wide. Here's Crossman chasing it in his own zone, trying to move it up. Ellett stopped it at the blue line, kept it in. Fedek. Polino fell down. Pass up behind Fedek off the glass and down the ice. No icing. Saw a man facing him in a hurry and shot the puck away. Again, icing waved off. Here's Carson. He is stopped by Ellett. Dompu skating down, and he has some room going in. Dompu, some of the brakes, fades it back. Here's Marois, scores!
First goal of the season. It looked like a harmless 3-on-3. Primo has got Marois. Primo 55 doesn't stay close enough to Daniel Marois and allows him to get the fat rebound. The other 2 defensemen for the Wings played the 3-on-3 pretty well.
Renich and Domfus assisting. 3:35, the time of the goal. So Marois gives the Toronto Maple Leafs a 2-1 lead here in the third period. Troy trying to get that back now as Hampshire drives one and in the save on the short side into center. Ink was out looking for it. It's underneath him, and he does not move. Smothering the puck. Tonight's game coming to you from Maple Leaf Gardens.
He was under wraps.
Ooh.
What's so special? New GST reduced prices, free automatic transmission.
Free automatic?
Or equivalent value credit of up to $900 on many models. Plus loaded, specially priced special editions like 323,
Protégé,
626, Trucks, and MX6.
Great foil.
Thank you. And wait till you see our limited edition MPV and Miata.
In British Racing Green.
See your Mazda dealer soon. Because these special values won't last long.
Against them, but they are winning 2-1 with 14:06 left in this, the 8th game of their season-long series.
And And, of course, they won in Detroit last night. Leafs move it up to Hannon. Hannon, Dumfries, and Petit were on the play. Here's Marois catching up. Grabbed by Dumfries, takes the shot and hit Crossman. Leafs are on it inside the blue line. Another long shot. That was by Petit and away wide. Red Wings get it out. Fedek moving up to the Leaf line. Into off to the left side. Here's Marsh. Oh, it went up just high, a little bit wide. Marsh centered it. He makes the stop. Good action around the Toronto net. Marsh nearly had one. And then Ing had to come up with a big save.
Today, we are celebrating a commitment by you, Paul, and you, Victoria, to spend the rest of your lives together. You are forming a tie that shall never be sundered.
Unlike certain other of life's commitments, John Deere will give you 30 days to back out. If within 30 days you're not completely satisfied with your John Deere mower, we'll give you your money back. Because in a matter as important as a lawnmower, you deserve to be happy.
So long as you both shall live.
Cole in the booth with Harry Neale, reminding you to stay tuned right after the game for the Molson Cup 3-star selection. As selected by Hockey Night in Canada, the Leafs are leading 2-1. Shots at 27-16 in favor of Detroit.
Sometimes, Bob, it's easy to pick the 3-stars, the Molson Cup 3 stars, but tonight it's going to have to be a little bit of a hunt to find 3 that are any better than any other 3. But there's 13 minutes left. Maybe somebody will shine in the last part.
So far, nobody has really been a standout for either team. Like you said, Harry, 4 or 5 who have been playing steadily throughout the night. Seeing at the blue line. Yzerman or Fedorov, should they get one?
They'll get some goals. They certainly haven't played the way they often have played against Toronto. And Peter Ing may get some votes. He's been the busiest goaltender of the 2 and didn't think he was going to play. Had to come in cold, which makes a tough job tougher.
13-19 remaining in the third period. And our last Saturday night of the season here on Hockey Night in Canada.
Toronto has one more home game. Home game number 40 is Tuesday night against the Hawks. And then they finish up in Chicago on Thursday and in St. Louis next Saturday.
Zazzle on the faceoff and his man tied up, allowing Lehman to lift the high one away. Clark will try to get in there against Racine. He bumped him lightly, and Zombo has the puck, and then he took a shot from Clark. Fedorov is on it. Passed it up across the line. Here is Yzerman breaking for the net again. Shoots a high one and made it. Dandy save. Yzerman very quick to get in front of the net. He can stop him, but he stayed with it, got the rebound, and then put a high one up. And he can stop that. Good play by Yzerman, and finer play by Peter Ing. This is icing called against the Maple Leafs with 12:39 left in the third period.
New Jersey nursing a 3-2 lead in period 3. The shot by Alain Cotes redirected by Guy Carbonneau in front, and replay showed it did get in under the crossbar. Paul Stewart was right on the spot to make the call. It's 3-3 now, the Devils and the Canadians in the third at the Forum.
Thanks, Ron. And here, 2-1 for the Maple Leafs. Detroit scored first. Leafs answering twice. The first for the Red Wings. Reed in the second for Toronto. And then the go-ahead goal by Marois. Hampshine for the net, trying to tip it. Hampshine picked it up and slapped it behind the goal. It's centered. Blasting the shot from close in was Hampshine, and he just missed it. This is Peter Cecil and Lehman. Gill on the play to Lehman going to the goal. After with a sensational save. Bester kicked out the left pad. That's offside at the Toronto blue line. Bester was sharp on that rush by Lehman.
8 goals in his last 10 games and 4 in his last 4 games. Nearly makes it 5 in a row here as he gets a nice little pass from Todd Gill and tries to go back between the legs of Bester as he went across in front of the net. And Bester perhaps has seen that move in practice, Bob, and wouldn't go for it.
Fine save by Alan Bester to keep the Red Wings very close, 2-1. The Maple Leafs are leading. Fedorov always dangerous for checking. Look at him move it back, but it got by Brad Marsh down the ice. Marsh up to center, put it up over the Leaf line. McGuire will give chase, and Marsh was there to tie him up. Crossman takes it in behind the net. Reed was in forechecking. Here comes Hannon. And the pass, the high one, goes down to Ellen. He gave it to T to Hannon, and Hannon dumped it in again. And back to the goal was Crossman. Sharp the ball for Detroit. The pass through center ice. Fedorov again. Near the line, Eisman has to wait. Karpov had gone in. Fedorov and Eisman. Two beauties. Look at this. They hand it around beautifully. Fedorov is getting loose. It's going to be a penalty against Michel Petit. Fedorov and Eisman had passed the puck back and forth. And then Fedorov broke clear. And as he was going in for a shot, he was tripped by Petit. He's going off. That's tripping.
10:46 to go in the game. The Leafs up 2-1. Fedorov is dancing outside Petit. Petit's in trouble. He knows it, so he trips him. Right there. The Red Wings took a timeout because Yzerman and Fedorov had just finished about a 30-second shift. And Coach Brian Murray wants to make sure that his two are as rested as they can be. And if Detroit plays this way in the playoffs, Bob, they won't last very long.
Well, next Saturday, we'll be in Montreal as the Quebec Nordiques, who are leading the Hartford Whalers tonight 7-3, will be in the Forum to play the Montreal Canadiens, and that's the last game in the Forum for Guy Lafleur in his illustrious career. We hope you'll join us. It'll be on the full CBC network next Saturday from the Forum in Montreal, the Quebec Nordiques.
Let's have a quick look at the out-of-town scores before this power play starts. A huge win for the Winnipeg Jets in Edmonton, 3-0, and Quebec helps Buffalo with a 7-3 win over Hartford.
Okay, the Detroit power play, 1-4-5 tonight. Crossman couldn't knock it down. Now he does. Fedorov tried to slice it in front to Burr, who has scored the Detroit power play goal in the first period. Gill slapped it on the boards. It gets out to the line. Cecil and Hannon are moving out. Leafs have a shorthanded goal tonight. Reed in the second period scored while Detroit was on a power play. Here's Carson. Into Crossman. Ball away until Ramage went in there and helped out. Ramage brings it out for Toronto. Up with Reed. Reed going after the puck. The Leafs are shorthanded. Reed is in there again. Tried to center it. He was bodied back to the net by Racine. Yzerman moving back in for the Red Wings. Near the line and it chopped away by Loisel. Racine to Crossman to Yzerman. His pass stopped, but Carson carries on. Yzerman was there, stopped the puck, didn't see it. And the Leafs clear it out. Ellen pounced on it and shot it away. Only 30 seconds left in the power play.
Steve Yzerman has not touched the puck in this power play. If you don't get it to him, you're not going to have as good things happen as you would like.
Offside this time at the Toronto blue line.
Well, Detroit, as I mentioned earlier with reference to the plane, the Detroit Red Wings with 8 wins and 22 losses and 8 ties on the road. That's one of the reasons, because they do have a fairly decent home record. that they're sitting in third place, and Brian Murray is concerned about the power play, the penalty killing, and the ineffective road play of his Detroit Red Wings.
Why has it always been so difficult for teams to win on the road as opposed to home?
Well, it's not as difficult for some as others, but I think what happens is that you get into a very early in your hockey career, you know what the coaches tell you, win at home and tie in the road and you'll be all right. After hearing that for a long time, maybe tie in the road gets you in a subconscious frame of mind that you can't get rid of.
Ken Dryden used to say he believes that in basketball only. Baseball, football, hockey, you should be able to win on the road as well as at home.
Well, very few teams do. And it's a real mystery in all sports, and hockey's no different than the others. In hockey, you know, the rinks are a little different. The ice in each rink's a little different. In football, the football field's exactly the same, and it's doing that business, too.
And the question, of course, arises, why Mr. Dryden made such a statement? Why basketball? He says the officiating.
You mean to tell me that there's no problem in that department in this league? Or baseball?
Here's Potvin moving up. Shoots one from the blue line, and it goes in around the net. Ramage is in there, trying to pick it up for Toronto. The teams are at full strength now. Sambo had a notion to move in. The Leafs are leading 2-1. Cecil and Lehman are going up now. And Clark trailing the play. Clark barging in there. There's a snap going on down the ice. That was going on for quite a while. Potvin again for Detroit. And Ramage for the Maple Leafs are going at it.
Well, it started between Garpenloff and Ravage. Then the masked Marvel, Potvin, came running in with the big shield on his face.
Watch it.
And
Clark and Primo, Harry, are pushing and shoving near the blue line. There they are.
I mean, I don't think a guy that wears a full face mask should be allowed to continue after he fights once. I mean, it's his business to wear one. And we know that this young man has a good reason to wear one. He's got a broken cheekbone, but he shouldn't fight.
Clark and Primo are going to go. You know, when Clark fought earlier in the hockey game, he hurt his hand. Remember, he left the penalty bench, and Lehman served the penalty for him. And the instigating part of the penalty, he had a minor and a major. He had left for the clinic, and Clark is reluctant to go right here with Primo.
Well, he fought the masked Marvel in the first one, too. And probably the first punch of the fight landed on the mask. I mean, that's my point. If you wear a mask to protect an injury, you shouldn't fight. And as we know, Potvin has started both fights. Yet, but here's how the whole scheme started. Down in the corner, it was Ramage and Garpenloff. And, of course, Garpenloff has never been in a scrap, but he and Ramage lay on top of each other, switched positions while the puck went up the length of the rink. Potvin saw this was happening and came running down and challenged and started the fight with Ramage. Now, Ramage didn't appreciate. He gives him a knee. Now, here comes Potvin with the mask. And there's the mask. I mean, Jacques Cousteau didn't wear a mask that fancy to go to the bottom of the Indian Ocean when he was exploring for new fishes. So this guy should be gone when you fight with a mask like that.
Potvin draws 4 minutes.
Well, he gets 2 for instigating for sure, because he wasn't even involved in the skirmish. Now, he's a tough kid. I'm not taking anything away from his desire to get involved physically, but while he's wearing that full shield, he can't do it. I don't think it's at all fair.
You're right, you know. Here are the announcements.
Potvin, 4 minutes for instigating, 5 minutes for fighting, and a game misconduct. Number 55, Keith Primo, 2 minutes for roughing. Toronto penalty to number 8, Rob Ramage, 5 minutes for fighting. Number 17, Wendell Clark, 2 minutes for roughing. Time 12:19. For Detroit, Mark Potvin, 4 minutes for instigating, 5 minutes for fighting, and a game misconduct. Keith Primo, 2 minutes for roughing. For Toronto, Rob Ramage, 5 minutes for fighting. Wendell Clark, 2 minutes for roughing. Time 12:19.
So you got all that, and 4 minutes on the board against Potvin. We're told that the game in the fourth is going into overtime. New Jersey and the Canadiens are 3-3.
And the New Jersey desperately need that one. It doesn't mean much to Montreal. Carbonneau tied it up at 16:09 from Cote and Russ Courtney.
The Toronto Maple Leafs in the power play tonight are 0 for 5. They have a good shot at one here. They're leading 2-1. 3:40 remaining on their power play now. They're moving in. Broken up inside the blue line and shot back down the ice for Peter Ing to handle it. Michel Petit is 22, and here he is. He's starting it to the right side. Bradley trying to pick a hole and can't find one. Neale stops it and ripped the shot. Bester played the angle as well tonight and stopped that and held it.
Well, Alan Vester's had but 19 shots to contend with, and not a lot of difficult ones. But he has looked sharp on the ones that he's had to handle. He's not used to 19 shots in this building, Bob.
Or any building.
Well, there's one of Alan's fans who didn't appreciate the fact the Leafs traded him to Detroit for a 6th-round pick in the upcoming draft in June in Buffalo. There's the stop, and he quickly covers it up as Marois trying to fight off Green to get the rebound.
3:17 left in this power play. Reed, Lehman, Zezel, Petit, and Ellett. Brad Marsh is on the ice for Detroit along with McCrimmon. Miller, 23, won the draw for Bird. He tried to fool Petit, but did not. Zezel on the boards. Zezel trying to get by Marsh with a pass. It bounced over Petit's stick to center ice. Bird's giving him all kinds of trouble. Petit went down, and the Leafs are moving out, led by Lehman. He's up over the line, and here's Reed cutting. Drives it in behind the net for Zezel on the other side. Petit slapped at it. It goes into Reed again behind the goal. He centered it. Lehman looking back to the blue line. Reed is waiting in the corner, and he gives it to him. He centered Zezel's shot. Again, Bester in the right spot to make that save. Ellett, other side for Petit to Ellett. Petit again. Now Lehman, quick shot, nice save. Bester made up beauty that time. Here's Ellett, slapped it into the corner. Leafs pass it around well. 2:10 left on their power play. They're ahead. Here's a quick shot. Score! Zezel scores!
Peter Zezel scores his 12th power play goal of the season to lead the Leafs in that department, and that was his 20th goal of the season, and it was a tip by Brad McCrimmon on a shot from the point that went to Zezel, and then like so many goals that beat Alan Vester, up top it goes on a hard shot by Peter Zezel to give the Leafs a 3-1 lead with 5:47 to go, and still 2 minutes left in the penalty to Mark Potvin, so the Leafs are still on the power play.
Ellett and Petit at 14-13 on this third period, and that's the power play goal, their first tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That makes it 3-1. Toronto. 5.5 minutes left, third period. Sambo in. Hampshire takes his pass. Moves in with a shot, and Ing stopped it with Bennett coming in. He held it and then put it back in play quickly. Bradley behind the back pass to Don Foose. Into the corner, Bradley chasing it. On the boards, he can't handle the traffic, and it's back to Ellett at the line. Moving up, Don Foose, Ellett. Ellett and Gill near the blue line. Here's Don Foose. Rolled it in there for Bradley. Down goes Bester, and he sets on it with 1:07
slump of no goals as he tipped the shot, and it nearly got underneath and by Alan Bester. The shot right here by Vincent Domfouche, you can see Bradley got a stick on it. Bester doesn't know where it is, but when he flops on his back, he's on top of it, and Bradley denied from breaking the 44-game goalless slump that he is in.
Leafs have been picking up in the shot department. They're up to 23 now, compared to 31 for the Detroit Red Wings. Tom Watt, Mike Kitchen, you have to give them credit. They're keeping the Leafs in it, even though they have no place to go. They're still putting on a fine effort.
Well, that's a real compliment to the coaching staff, Tom Watt and Mike Kitchen. It's hard to get your team to be motivated when there's nothing to gain except 2 points, but with reference to a playoff race. Now, in all honesty, Detroit's in the same category as they can't move where they're sitting in the standings.
Zessel was in there again. Now he loses sight of it. It hit a skate, and Eisman skates out with it. Comes down with Marsh. The defenseman is on this play. Marsh tried a shot and went in behind the net. Gill for Petit. Out for Todd Gill. To center and then lifts one into the zone. That could be icing. And it is icing against Toronto with 4:21 left.
Well, I mentioned that this is Brad Marsh's first game back at Maple Leaf Gardens since being traded by the Leafs. Glenn Hanlon at this morning's practice was kidding Brad, saying that the Toronto Maple Leaf alumni team that played Montreal last night were thinking seriously of phoning Detroit and seeing if they could use Brad. But on second thought, they decided he was too old and they refused to invite him. Brad got a bit of a laugh out of it. Glenn Hanlon, of course, the third goalie for the Detroit Red Wings. And this guy, Marsh, a very, very popular player here in Toronto and is becoming one in Detroit, to no one's surprise.
.421 left. Face off to the left of Ing. Lehman dropped it to the side of the net, and Allen wasn't quite ready. Then he had to move away from Burr in a hurry. Clark to the line. Went off balance. Had a good move, though. Shot it in over the line for Petit. Centered it. A nice save off the shot by Lehman. Bester was quick to stop that with a stick. Here's Hannon. Behind the net, Clark was out front. The pass all the way to the line to Allen. Shot. Kicked away. Shewchuk tried to tip it near the line, and it got out to center ice. We welcome you people who have been watching the Montreal-New Jersey game. This is Bob Cole with Harry Neale in the booth at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. 3-3 tie at the Forum tonight. Right here at Maple Leaf Gardens, it's 3-1 for the Maple Leafs over the Detroit Red Wings. Bester in goal for the Red Wings tonight. Peter Ing replaced Jeff Reese, who was injured early in the hockey game.
The hospital is that Jeff Reese is fine. No serious problems at all.
Burr has the Detroit goal. He scored first in a power play. Bester stops one. And then Reed, a short-handed goal, his 8th of the season. Marois and Zessel added goals for the Maple Leafs. Oh, 2:59 left in the third, and it's 3-1 for the Maple Leafs.
Well, if you want to have an enjoyable afternoon, get out and lie down on that couch at 2 o'clock and watch the Montreal alumni play the Toronto alumni in a hockey game that took place last night here at Maple Leaf Gardens. And if you were a fan of either one of those teams in the 50s and 60s and 70s, you'll really enjoy seeing some of your favorites back on the ice at Maple Leaf Gardens.
That game will be shown on the full CBC network at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Allen moving up for a shot. He placed it off to the right side to Reed. Now he has to hustle, and he can't keep it in. Allen puts a high one in up on the glass to the left half of this. 2:40 remaining in the third period. Up the center ice. The Red Wings just get something going, and it's offside at the blue line with Fedorov making an extra move before hitting the line.
Well, Crossman here has been traded twice this year. He started the season in with the New York Islanders, and then was traded to Hartford for Ray Ferraro, and then didn't play too long with the Island before he was traded to Detroit. And he's also played in Philadelphia, Chicago, and L.A. So he knows how to move. That's one thing we know for sure. The Red Wings got him because they thought they would help their anemic power play. The guy they really miss on it, I think, is Steve Chason, who has broken his foot twice and may be back for the playoffs, but may not, and they really miss young Chason.
Alan Buster stepping out of the net. Knocked it up on the boards. Lino wrapped at it. Racine for Detroit. Crossman, he has to hustle to catch up to it as Gill was coming in. Here's Krushelnyski for the Leafs, centering it. Lino missed it. He was in a good spot in front of the net, but just missed it. Now we're down to 2 minutes remaining in the third period with an icing call coming up against Toronto. Now 1:59 left at 3-1. The Maple Leafs are leading the Detroit Red Wings.
40th game tonight. Rick Green played last year in Europe, came back. Detroit made a deal with Montreal to get his rights. He's been a steadying influence on the Red Wing defense. And they also brought Brad McCrimmon in from Calgary, who, despite the fact he missed about 16 games with a broken bone in his foot, these two guys seem to be out there whenever the Red Wings are trying to get out of a jam defensively.
Carson is number 10, and he'll square off against Zessel of the Maple Leafs on this draw to the right of Peter Ring. Carson is ready, and so is Zessel now. And the linesman finally drops it in. Bennett took a shot. Nice glove save. Hank was very quick going down and snapping out the left hand to glove that one.
Moline had to not only contend with a shot from Fedek on a bad angle, but he had to worry about the Red Wings player who was going to the net. And the question is, could he catch the puck before the Red Wings player who was going to the net tipped it in? So an acrobatic move with two things in mind, not just stopping the shot.
Another face-off for the goaltender's right. Shots are 32-25 in favor of the Red Wings, but the Maple Leafs are leading on the scoreboard, 3-1.
Well, that's where the backup goalie usually sits, but Jeff Reese is sitting in the hospital. As I said, the injury that appeared it could be serious, we hear isn't, which is great news for Jeff and the Leafs.
Carson tried a weak shot from the sharp angles. It's cleared back out to center ice. Zombo drives one back in there. Ellis slapped it on the boards. Green keeping it in. T took a swing at it. It was high. Trying to hold it with a skate, but it comes loose. Now he grabs it with his hand and pulls it in. I don't think anybody saw that. Finally, it comes loose again. No whistle. Red Wings kept it in. 1:05 left to play in the third period. 3-1 Toronto. Center ice. Carson. Now into the final minute. Out of the net is Alan Bester. The Red Wings trying to battle back here in the late stages of the third period. Reed trying to shoot one from center at the empty net. Red Wings have an extra skater on there now, moving up over the line. Leafs intercept. Reed has a goal tonight. Hands this one off to McGuire. He's in with a shot, missed the empty net. 35 seconds to play in the third. Red Wings get out as far as center. Krushelnyski stopped it. Gave it to McGuire. Red Wings again move it to center. Alec drives one into the corner. 20 seconds remaining in the third. That Detroit net gaping down there. No Leaf with a shot at it yet. This time, score! Todd Gill. Pull the trigger from center ice.
Great shot. I mean, it hit the net, but you know what Todd did that made the goal count? He hesitated for a second, got over center, and also waited for his teammates to get out of the zone so it wouldn't be offside. We know one thing, Sergei Fedorov has played very little ball hockey in Russia, or he would have had that shot. Now, see, Gill gets over the red line, hesitates till his teammates get out of the zone, and Fedorov misses catching the puck, and Todd Gill gets his second goal of the season, and the Leafs are going to win this one 4-1 with only 13 seconds to go. November 21st was Todd Gill's last goal.
So back-to-back wins for the Maple Leafs. Last night at the Joe Louis Arena and tonight here at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Our final Saturday night from the Gardens are thanks to Maria, our right-hand lady here in the booth all season, and the rest of the CBC technical crew who have been a great help. Horn goes, the game is over, and Toronto wins this one 4-1.
The game, the Leafs showed almost nothing offensively, but in the last half of the game, they dominated the play. They got a 4-minute penalty to Potvin that really put the game on ice for them. And the Toronto Maple Leafs, who have nowhere to go in the standings, come up with another pretty good effort, and that's a credit to them and their coaching staff to be able to play with the intensity they played most games with since the 1st of March. And since the 1st of March, they've really been out of it.
So, New Jersey and the Canadiens tied at 3. And here the Leafs win it over Detroit 4-1. In a moment, our Molson Cup 3-star selection. Canada, the first star, Peter Ing. And the second star, Dave Ellett. And the third star, Alan Bester.
Good for Allen, third star in the game, and Peter Ing, the number 1 star, as the goaltenders shine at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto tonight. In between the two goaltending performances, Davey Ellett put on a strong effort and was second star of this contest. By the way, on Jeff Reese, they x-rayed both his kidneys and his back, and both sets of x-rays proved negative. As you know, Jeff's okay, resting in hospital, and hopefully will be back with the Leafs shortly. Final score tonight, Toronto 4, Detroit 1. More from the Gardens in a moment.
Give you more! Your Atlantic Ford and Mercury dealers mean business with low 8.9% financing on Tempo and Topaz, our number 1 value leaders. Plus, these two winners come fully equipped. But hurry, with 8.9% financing, these two bargains will move fast. We give you more! We mean business. Buy Tempo or Topaz now with 8.9% financing.
We're your Atlantic Ford and Mercury dealers. We give you more!
Stories from around the league with your host, Ron McLean.
With Don Cherry, a 3-3 tie at the Forum and a 4-1 victory for the Leafs at the Gardens. What did you think of the two games?
All right. First of all, you ever notice when he comes in and replaces a goaltender, he's dynamite. I don't know what that means anything at all.
He's had a nice rookie year.
You better believe it. And also, this Potvin, you won't believe this, folks.
Mark Potvin of the Red Wings.
Yes, I went to Cindy Lambert of the Detroit News, and I said, you better talk to this Potvin kid. I was watching the game with Hartford the other night. He challenged John Stevens of Hartford. John Stevens drops his gloves. He looks up, full face mask, and he cut him. He should not be allowed to do what he's doing, and that's a shame what happened. Wendell's hands all banged up.
Bill McCurry handled it well, though. Yeah.
What about Montreal, folks?
Try the game at the Forum and see if you can do it better.
And that goal, listen, that game 3-3, that goal was in that far. Paul Stewart was absolutely right. It went right up in the back. There's no doubt at all.
So you agree, the referees are terrific in both games. Let's go to scores around the NHL, Don, and you can react to all that's happened so far today.
Oh, look at Tocchet. Did he see something or what? I don't know. New York Rangers, as you said one time, they couldn't lose with those goalies. Now they can't win with them. Tocchet with 2. What a beauty. Richer got 1, 21 goals.
Caps and Devils are tied in third. Philadelphia is a point out in the race for fourth in the Patrick.
I figured it out. Over 100 shots they took in 2 games, Boston. Boston just keeps rolling along. Neale, what a beauty.
47.
47, isn't that a beauty?
Pittsburgh Penguins fell at home to Chicago. That snaps a streak of 14 in a row that lost at the Civic Center.
Well, Belfour got pulled, and we don't know why. It wasn't after a goal. That's when he usually pulls them. I hope he wasn't hurt, but Chicago, what a team. Manson, Chelios. He benched Chelios a little bit. Now he's back playing again. What a team. I love playing him. Well, this game, I don't know. What can I tell you? The only thing I can tell you is that Tommy Webster's got a good right hand.
Kings are a point ahead of the Flames, and Gretzky's streak for assists in consecutive games now stands at 22 in a row. The Quebec Nordiques are on a roll now, but it doesn't mean a whole lot done.
That's all right, though. They were probably very, very embarrassed with that 70. They said, look, what are we? And they came, and they came back and won. They've got Lindros. They don't care.
Brett Hull got his 81st in this one. The Blues beat the Caps earlier in the week. This makes it 2 straight, and they stay in the hunt with Chicago. They're 2 back of the front-running Blackhawks.
And look who got the winner was Quinn.
Dan Quinn's 3rd as a Blue. Montreal and New Jersey, we saw the tie at the Forum this evening for many viewers on Hockey Night in Canada. So the Canadians settled in 2nd nicely, and the New Jersey Devils, as we say, move into a tie for 3rd. In the Patrick.
I'm going to tell you, if there's a better defenseman than Halsey in the league, they're making me look bad. I said that. They lost. Can you imagine? They lost last night, got in late. Lots of character on that team, and I like Halsey. I don't understand why he's never being considered for the Norris. What has he got, 25 goals now?
Something like that, 26, I believe.